Hi everyone, thanks for checking out another InfoSec Hub video. Today we're going to talk about the various teams in information security. You have here the red team and the blue team, and they basically work on opposite sides of the spectrum, so to speak. So the red team is more like the hacker, as you can see, that uses, for instance, spam and phishing emails, ransomware, does reconnaissance, and try to hack into systems. So this also includes penetration testing, and this can also be done by white hat hackers. So they work together with companies to make sure that they find vulnerabilities or security loops and try to point them out in order to strengthen defenses again. So you can also find these weaker points and then try to improve security. That's a white hat hacker, and a black hat is basically going for financial gains, so extorting companies, breaking through firewalls, stealing data, putting them on the ransomware, so they lock down all the files in the systems, and you need to pay bitcoins in order to unlock it again if they do. So they are only out there for financial gains. So penetration testing is the testing of security of the system. You have various penetration tests. You can have a white box, a black box, and this all means you either know the infrastructure or you don't know the infrastructure. If you don't know the infrastructure, then it's the most realistic test, I would say. Sometimes it even goes as far that somebody tried to log in the access point, and from the access point he jumps to the Active Directory server. From the Active Directory server he jumps to the database server or the web server and try to ransom the files on there to disrupt the service, basically. So it's like checking the infrastructure, seeing what damage you can do, and see what there is for gain. And you can do that as a white hat and as a black hat. And then based on that, you can up the defenses. Vulnerability scanning has to do with when you're writing software code, you can introduce vulnerabilities. There can be vulnerabilities in the system, the database system, the web server, whatever kind of software product you're using, vulnerabilities are in it, and vulnerabilities can be exploited. So scanning for these vulnerabilities is vital to see what the attack surface is. And you want to keep the attack surface as low as possible. Social engineering has to do with hacking people, basically try to force them to give you information, and with that information you can then gain access to systems and files and stuff like that. It's always a certain urgency behind it. I try to push people into giving information that they're not supposed to give out. Threat intelligence is keeping aware of threats that are now currently active, and those threats then can be exploited if you find them in the infrastructure, basically. So you need to know what's happening on this level. There are whole marketplaces out there that people trade these kind of secrets, and if there's a 0-day attack, basically that means there's an exploit, there's no patch yet, there's not a solution for it yet, and it can be exploited on a massive scale, and these 0 days are the most expensive to purchase. So it's all about knowledge. It's about being the first one to exploit something before a software manufacturer or somebody like that patches the vulnerability or the security hole. Custom toolset development, like real hackers, they can program and they can create their own tools. And those tools can then be used for a particular purpose during the hacking event, basically. Now, then we have the blue team, which are the defenders. They check the network, so they have an IDS or an IPS running. The IDS is the intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. So this is on the network level. Data and log analysis, you can imagine every server puts out logging. If there's a failed attempt to log in, you want to be able to log that as well. So you can see some red flags, probably some IPs. that are flowing through there. You want to log them as well. You want to make sure that you block certain parts of the world, that you don't have customers, but you know that cyber attacks coming from there. So you do a lot of log analysis, and you're not going to log files yourself, but you feed them into a certain system, and then they give you an overview of what's happening on your platform. Risk assessments is also something that you do on a daily basis. You always have critical applications, critical servers. You have supporting servers and supporting applications. So you do a risk assessment on what is most critical for your business and what you need to assess on a daily basis or weekly basis, and what you need to assess once or twice a year. Threat detection is also very important. Hackers are looking into new ways to find security holes, so you need to know what the new standard is and how to defend yourself. The purple team, as you can see, is in between, and they collaborate with the attackers and the defenders. They do information sharing between the red and the blue team, and reporting and analysis is very important. So they need to know what's going on the attacker side, and they need to know what's going on the defender side, and bring those two teams together. That's basically in a nutshell what the various teams are when you talk about information security. A lot of information security jobs are, of course, on the blue team, the defenders. They try to keep the corporate network safe, and do the best to their abilities. And this can be a legal background, this can be an IT background, it can be compliance background, everything that has to do with safeguarding customer data, systems, stuff like this. And attackers, on the other hand, are more the technical people that really go in, breaking into the system and doing some damage or point out security weaknesses. I hope that was useful, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.